and I'm an abortion provider. But I would never tell a woman what to do with her body or what to do with her pregnancy. The fact is that decision belongs to the person who is pregnant. And people in this country want to make it about some point in pregnancy or some pregnancies where abortion is okay versus they're not okay. Whatever the reason is that that person doesn't want to continue the pregnancy, that's valid for me. And the fact of the matter is, it's about privacy, it's about agency and self-determination. That's what matters here.
The head of the Alabama Pro-Life Coalition said the following about the fact that there are no exemptions. He said, regardless of how the conception takes place, i.e. rape or incest, the product is a child. And so we're saying that unborn child is a person entitled to protection of law. What's your response to that?
You know, it's really hard to have this conversation with people who don't believe in science, who don't believe in evidence-based practice of medicine, because they approach the world with a religious faith that despite all evidence to the contrary, they continue to believe their worldview. It doesn't matter what that state legislator thinks. What matters is what the person who's pregnant thinks about their pregnancy. And my job when I take care of my patients is to provide them education about the risks and the benefits and the alternatives to the treatment they're asking for, whether it's management of really difficult menstrual periods and heavy flow or painful periods, or whether it's the management of a pregnancy that they weren't wanting right now, or the management of a pregnancy that's gone horribly wrong. The fact of the matter is my patient deserves the opportunity to get the care she needs under the circumstances that are right for her and her family, without the interference of a legislator. I mean, in this country, the most regulated thing in this country is a woman's uterus. It's really remarkable to me. 20 years later, after having started at the medical school in Alabama and having been a patient escort at the Planned Parenthood of Alabama in Birmingham, I never thought we'd be where we are now, where it is really, really challenging to take care of the women I take care of and their families, not because the health care is difficult. In truth, abortion care is some of the safest medicine that's practiced. It's safer than having nearly any other procedure in medicine. But it's not about the medicine. This is about misogyny. This is about politics. This is about the status of people who can become pregnant, mostly women in this country. And as Ms. Steinem made the point, this is not a new concept. This has been a long-standing issue. But what's come to a head is the understanding that women in this country no longer can expect the ability to choose when and if to end a pregnancy if they find themselves pregnant as a result of these state laws and the makeup of the Supreme Court.
So I want to play for you a little bit of a comment from a woman from Alabama who did find herself pregnant, and she'd been raped. This is what she said.
I suffered from PTSD afterwards. I suffered major depressive disorder. Lots of traumatic things happened, and I honestly do not believe that I would be able to go through with it. My rapist, I know, would try to use that child to control me and to get to me, because that's what he tried to do after I had my abortion.
I mean, you know, as you point out, the women have their own very, very particular stories. And you just mentioned, I wonder what somebody like her, Sam, what can she expect now from not only her own state, but the Supreme Court? And you just talked about the makeup of the Supreme Court.
Well, first and foremost, I think it's really telling that in this country, many states, the sentence that her attacker would suffer if found guilty for the sexual assault that they perpetrated on her would be shorter than the sentence that's embedded within this new law in Alabama. It's really remarkable to me. It has so much comment on the status of women and their place in our country. As far as what I would tell this woman, I've taken care of patients like her. The woman who comes to mind right now is a woman I took care of just a few months ago, who found herself pregnant under violent circumstances as the victim of rape, who really just having a pelvic exam in the gynecologist's office